All right, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Monday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock Banner's Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. We will say some good mornings here, but LSU baseball swept by Ole Miss. Man, for the first time this season, and this happens in baseball, but it felt like every decision that Jay Johnson made just came up snake eyes. And even when he made the right decision, his team didn't back him up. For example, game 2, he goes to Blake Money with a couple of guys on base. First pitch, Money gets Elko to roll over a ground ball. You all know what happened. Doty boots the ball, inning continues. The score put up a 5 spot. Yesterday, game 3, he started Dutton, 1 pitch, double. They pulled Dutton. Jay said after the game that was always the plan, that he was only going to pitch to one batter. And as it was explained to me, I don't know if Jay Johnson said this publicly, but apparently he wanted to start Dutton so that Ole Miss would keep certain bats out of their lineup, thinking they were facing the righty. And then, of course, he brought in Hasty, who was a lefty, after the 1 pitch. And that didn't work out. But Hasty did keep him off balance, and he managed to tie the ball game at 3-3. But the thing we know about Ole Miss, and we've known about them all year, is number one, they're not a great offensive team as far as batting average. They don't string together hits. But what they do well is they score runs from the long ball. They hit homers. And if you're going to just keep running hard, throwing righties that are just fastball dominant at Ole Miss, it's going to hurt you. And that was Razelman. Razelman was popping the mid at 98, but brother, you put 98 over the plate and you got a big country strong dude that's trying to hit a homer and he connects with it, it's going to go a long way, and it did. So, they had a bases loaded 2-out situation with Cranford due up, and he let Cranford hit. Could not believe he let Cranford hit. Ole Miss had brought in a lefty, and I get it that there's no obvious better option, but I'd rather Travinsky in that spot just because he can run into one. I mean, he may strike out, but Cranford's likely to strike out, just given his, statistically what he is. Travinsky could run into one, and all of a sudden you have a lead. So, anyway, just really disappointing. I did have a conversation yesterday, let's just say with someone in the know, and there's a strong desire from the tournament selection committee for LSU to host because it's an NCAA event and the NCAA gets the money. They know if LSU hosts a regional at the box, you're going to have sellout crowds and it'll be the most lucrative of all the regionals. So they have a desire for LSU to host, but what I was told yesterday before the game is they need 2 more wins. They need to get to 16. So it would have been really nice had they beaten Ole Miss yesterday, or hell, if they just gotten 2 against Ole Miss. But they beat Ole Miss yesterday, then you just need 1 against Vanderbilt. Well, now you need 2 against Ole Miss or 2 against Vanderbilt, or you need to go make a run probably into the weekend in the SEC tournament. So your RPI will be fine. I know I think it's around 30 today. Let me check. I haven't looked today. But your RPI will be fine because you got 3 games with Vanderbilt coming up, and Vanderbilt's RPI is 3. So you dropped all the way to 37 after this weekend. But you'll play those 3 games, and your RPI will be right back in the top 20, top 15 next weekend. And then you got Hoover as well. So RPI will be fine. I'm not so much concerned about that. It's more, can you find 2 wins this weekend in Nashville to lock up a host site? So it'll be tough. All right, let's say some good mornings here. Kelly Gross, good morning. Mark, Drew Brees let go as an analyst at NBC. It didn't sound like, I don't know if y'all saw this. It's crazy, but Drew Brees tweeted that basically reports came out that Brees and NBC were separating after 1 year. And then Brees came back and tweeted, I'll read you the tweet if you haven't seen it yet. I think it was Andrew Marchand who tweeted it. But here's Brees. Despite speculation from media about my future this fall, I'm currently undecided. I may work for NBC. I may play football again. I may focus on business and philanthropy. I may train for the pickleball tour, senior golf tour, coach my kids, or all of the above. I'll let you know. A little bit of a cheeky tone there from Drew, which we don't usually get from Brees. But Brees did tweet, signing Jarvis and Tyron makes me want to come back and play again. Great additions, leaders, and players. So, interesting, right? I don't know. To be very clear, as much as this might pain me to say it, I do not want Drew Brees to come back and play football. A guy in his, early mid-40s who's been out of the game for a year. Maybe it's one of those things where the year off has let his body heal and mind clear, and to get off that hamster wheel has helped him, and he could come back better. I think that was true for Gronk. Gronk's body was so broken down. I think, being out of football allowed his body to heal to where he could come back and be not what he was, but to be effective for a couple of seasons. Maybe that's the same for Brees. Hey, Brian Penn, good morning. Ryan Amanda Guidry, good morning. Bubba Tatum, good morning. Ricky Lambert, Sam Lemoyne, Randy Dabdoo, good morning. Colin Hudko today. Cool, appreciate that, Randy. Yeah, so, by the way, especially if you're in New Orleans, let me get the link for y'all. Especially if you're in New Orleans, there was hail in New Orleans yesterday. There were reports anywhere from marble to ping pong to golf ball sized hail. If you had hail, please let us come do a roof inspection. Because I say it all the time, if you have damage, there's only two ways to find out. You let someone come do an inspection, or you wait till it rains and you have water in your house. And one of those options is way better than the other. And maybe it's not from the next rainstorm. Maybe it's when God forbid, a hurricane comes through. But you leave the area when the hurricane comes, but you end up with water in your house because your roof doesn't hold up. I mean, it's just things that I know nobody wants to talk about or think about, but you have to. So anyway, thank you, Randy. We'll look forward to taking your call today. And happy to help. So thank you. Let's see. Jason Horn, John Bro, disappointing getting swept. Absolutely. Dylan Horn, who would you like to see start Saturday? I would like for them to start Jacob Hasty on Saturday. And I understand the idea behind not starting him is that if you don't start him, you can use him multiple times on the weekend. Well, if you have a weekend like this, then you only used him once anyway because you weren't going to burn any of your arms because you're playing from behind. So at least, I get it. It's a chicken or the egg question, but, ideally you'd love to be able to use him multiple games over the weekend, but if the weekend doesn't go your way, then you end up with that situation, like yesterday, where you didn't use Razelman or Gervais until Sunday. Sometimes it happens that way. But I would like to see Hasty start on Saturday. I would like them to go Hilliard, then Hasty, then Dutton. David Coslin, good morning. Kirk Taylor, what's up? Yeah, Mark asked about Doncic. Y'all, did y'all watch the Suns Mavs last night? Someone asked yesterday who I had the game sevens, and I picked the two home teams, and one of those worked out well. Boston just absolutely routed Milwaukee, 109-81. So congrats to Boston for advancing. But man, how about Phoenix? Phoenix had 27 points in the first half. Now, they ended up scoring 90, so good on them for showing a little grit in the second half and not rolling over. But the Suns just absolutely imploded yesterday. It was crazy. Andrew email, good morning. Trivia Carter, what's up? I'm just here so I don't get fined. Spurge, what's good, man? Wendell Norman, what's up? Cliff Nelson, good morning. Eric Wilderotter, thoughts and prayers for the baseball comments you have to read this week. You know what, Eric? The good thing about baseball is you get to go play again. You know, you don't have to stew on this for a whole week like you would in football. You play again on Tuesday, and then you start to move yourself toward Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Nashville. So it's a great opportunity. I mean, Vanderbilt's playing well now. They're out of the doldrums and have got themselves above 500 in conference play. So big challenge this week, but it's a great opportunity as well. See if you can go scratch across 2 wins. None of us were sitting here on Friday thinking Ole Miss was coming to sweep LSU. I think even Ole Miss fans would acknowledge that. But it's baseball and it happens. So go win a couple games this weekend in Nashville. Cliff Nelson, destroy the like button. Yeah, please smash that like button if you would there on YouTube. We appreciate it. And I'll tell you, Ole Miss felt hungrier for sure. That felt like the reverse of the Florida weekend, where LSU went down to Gainesville and was just the hungrier, more vocal, more energetic team, and it showed. It showed all weekend. LSU just never really got off the mat. I'll tell you, I was at the game yesterday, and Jay Johnson probably spent 15 minutes talking to his team after the game. Like, I was sitting there with Hunt, and we're in the guarantee suite, and so that's right down the first baseline. And so Johnson's talking with the team right there by first base. And, the stadium clears out. We're sitting there talking, and, I look down, they're still talking down there. And I'm like, Hunt, he's still talking to, like, what does he say? What do you have to say for that long? But I'd be very surprised if we saw that effort again. Let's see, Eric, unique spot where both fan bases walk away this weekend upset. Us because we get swept, Ole Miss because we saved Bianco's job. I don't think so. Eric, I'd say it to the same ways like last year with Maneri. Paul was moving on, even after the regional win and moving on to the Supers and all that sort of stuff. It's still not a season that's up to anybody's standards, especially what they had expected there in Oxford. Hunter Fournette, Armstrong grappling, disappointed by the crowds. Yeah, yesterday was a thin crowd for a beautiful Sunday and a 1 o'clock first pitch and a meaningful game. Yesterday's crowd was disappointing. The games 1 and 2 with the restarts and all that, the weather and the restarts, I'm not going to fault anybody for that. Wendell, we appreciate everything Drew has done for our city and franchise. No doubt. Randall Offrecht, is Jacob Berry really the entire offense because the lineup looked out of whack? So here's the thing that you got to keep in mind, Randall. Like, it's not that he's the entire offense, but when Jacob Berry's in the lineup hitting behind Dylan Cruz and then Cade Doty's hitting behind him, as a pitcher or as a manager who's calling pitches, you've got to decide who you're going to attack. You can't pitch around all three guys and then and just keep walking dudes. So like if Cruz is sitting there in the 2-hole, well, you're more likely to throw or to Dugas in the leadoff spot, or if Cruz in the 3-hole, you're more likely to give Pearson something to hit. Pearson homered yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, well, when Berry is hitting behind Cruz, well, now you got a decision to make. And with Berry out of the lineup on Saturday, they walked Dylan Cruz 3 times. He had one at-bat, one official at-bat. So when that happens, you have to have someone step up behind him to hurt, to make it hurt for pitching around Dylan Cruz. And that didn't happen this weekend. So, yeah, I mean, it absolutely matters. I mean, there's enough good players in this team to where removing Jacob Berry shouldn't cripple your lineup. But if you don't think it hurts, I mean, look at the results this weekend. Absolutely, it matters. Jesse Post at the box yesterday. We're not quite there, but let's finish strong. Big opportunity this weekend. Pearson and Stevenson should have left and right locked down the next 2 years. Absolutely. I mean, we've been talking about that for weeks now. Your outfield looks great. Cruz is back at center next year, so to go, Pearson, Cruz, Stevenson, I mean, shoot. That's fantastic defensively, and all those guys can hit. Ivanka De Silva, good morning. Kirk, why would you pull Dutton after one pitch? So weird. So talked about it a little bit ago. Jay Johnson, I mentioned when we started, not sure if you heard. So Jay Johnson that was his plan. He was only going to let Dutton pitch the one hitter because they wanted Hasty in the game, but they wanted to start Dutton so that way Ole Miss would put a lineup out there against what they thought was a right-handed pitcher. And so after one AB, they were going to bring in Hasty, so then all of a sudden the advantage flipped. Again, that's how Jay's had to manage the season, where he's had to overmanage every situation like that. And it all came up snake eyes this weekend. Jerry, good morning. Miserable baseball weekend. I don't know about anyone else. I definitely didn't see that coming. Watching the Suns get smoked was a nice consolation. Pat Huseman, what's up? Let's see. Yeah, no update on Dugas for those that are asking. I don't have one right now anyway. I had a feeling that Bianco was trying to take advantage of all the weaknesses. You'd have to be a little more specific, Pat. Jeremy Wiley, good. Isn't that every objective of a coach, like in every sport? If you have a matchup advantage at cornerback, or at receiver on this cornerback, what do you throw to that receiver, right? Anyway, just be a little more specific. Let me know what you're thinking there. Brian Wynn, Don Jolibois, good morning. Greg Phillips. Inconsistency with LSU baseball is frustrating. Looking forward to seeing what happens when Jay Johnson gets to recruit a couple more classes. Greg, yesterday going to the ballpark, I had about a 30-minute phone conversation with a buddy that's a scout, and he said if Jay Johnson gets 12 guys from this class onto campus, they're going to be rolling next year. So he's got an amazing class signed. Let's see how many they can get to campus. Sounds like Mikey Romero. Actually, what he told me yesterday was no chance. It's a direct quote. So I would not count on Mikey Romero. But Gavin Guidry from Barb, there's a shot. I mean, his number is $2 million. And if you look at slot values, that would be right at the 40th overall mark. I think 40th is 195 for slot value. So you get Gavin Guidry to show up on campus, then he's your day one starter at shortstop next year. Somebody got 6'2", 175. You could get him up to 190. Really add the power to the bat. Just a very, very fluid at shortstop, makes all the plays. You'd love to get that guy on campus. A shout out to Brock, as always, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. You need an orthopedist, go to Brock. They're the best. Right there inside of the Surgical Specialty Center on Bluebonnet near Perkins, brortho.com, brortho.com. And, of course, Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Barry Day, tough weekend. Got to give Coach some time to develop his own magic. I don't know if it's magic, Barry. I just think they got outplayed this weekend. Got beat by a better team this weekend. Chance Babin, Adam Miller, Jarvis Landry, Trey Holly. Great news. Baseball ugly showing. Great weekend. Yeah, Trey Holly, LSU did pick up a running back commit from Trey Holly out of Union Parish. So smaller back, the 5'8", 180 size. But excuse me. But great to see. Keep the best players in state. Bill Schmid, good morning. Jake Veed, what's up? Chase Pellegrin. Floyd has pitched the last 2 weekends. Why not him on Saturday? Yeah, Kirk, until Floyd consistently develops a secondary pitch, it's hard to run him out there with expectations of him extending. I know he did it on Saturday in the restart, and that was great to see. But he's really flip-flopped, good outing, bad outing, good outing, bad outing. Against a lesser team where you can live on 93 with a bunch of movement, great. But just against SEC offenses, he just hasn't been able to get them out consistently. Charlie Pennison, how was Supper Club? It looked fantastic. Talked about it a little yesterday. Yeah, man, Supper Club was phenomenal for those that missed it. I didn't even know until Brandon texted me, but Brandon and Mackenzie Landry opened it up. It's a new fine dining experience in Baton Rouge. It's on Perkins. If you know where Perkins Row is, it's directly across from that Fresh Market. It's directly across. There's like a bank, and it's behind the bank. It's completely blacked out. There's no windows. It is like Vegas in Baton Rouge. It is a Vegas-style restaurant in Baton Rouge. It is experiential. Like, you walk in, and it is dark, and there's like candles all on the floor by the entry. You walk to the host stand, there's a DJ in the restaurant. There is wall art. The carpets, they flew in from like Holland or something like that. It is Vegas in Baton Rouge. And they open on Tuesday to the public. So this is their soft opening, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They open to the public Tuesday, and they'll be open Tuesday to Saturday for dinner only. So, and Brandon told us on Saturday that they already have 1,300 reservations before they haven't even opened. So if you want to go try it, I might recommend calling to get a reservation maybe a couple weeks in advance now. Because I have a feeling, especially as it starts, it's going to be really hard to get in there. So, but very cool. Food was great. We had a phenomenal time. Hey, Dad. Good morning. Stephen Bickham. What's up? Thomas Bergeron. Tyler Coleman. What in the world's happened to Doty? Also, Joe Bear needs to sit. He forgot how to hit. Seems like a 5-week slump. Well, so two things. We've talked about this a ton. Joe Bear is a dead pull hitter. He is a dead pull hitter. So part of the reason for his statistical slump is he keeps hitting into the shift. He's hit a lot of balls hard right at people in the shift. So for him, it's learn to go the other way, or you're going to keep having teams shift against you. And he does have a lot of swing and miss. There's no doubt. But you take that with a guy when he can run into one and change the scoreboard, which Joe Bear can, as a guy with double-digit homers. So I'm okay with him being a dangerous guy in the bottom third of the order. Doty, I'm not worried about K. Doty. K. Doty can hit. We know he can hit. He's hit for 2 years, and he'll hit again. Sometimes guys go through slumps. He'll fight his way through it. Let's see, would you DH Tyler? No, I'd catch him because you don't have a better... Like, McManus is not a great catcher. You got another pass ball on a strike 3 yesterday, which extended Hasty's inning by 3 batters because he walked the next 2 guys. Should have been in the dugout. Instead, he walked the next 2 guys and had to face 3 more hitters. But Travinsky defensively is worse than McManus. You just don't have a good defensive option. So, looking forward to seeing Blaze Priester next year. Tyler Coleman, if the rumor that Milazzo will be back Tuesday is true, you DH McManus. Yes, I would 100% do that. Or flip-flop McManus and Joe Bear, if you want lefty righty, whatever you want. But y'all know how I feel about it. If Milazzo's able to catch, they're like a good catcher, gives a pitcher an estimated +9 strikes a game because he's still behind the plate. He can frame pitches, knows how to manage a staff. And depending on the count those are in, think about how significant that is. Like just think about Friday night. What if on that strike 3 you're in the dugout with a 2-0 lead instead of the pass ball by McManus, and now all of a sudden back-to-back 2-out hits and you're down 4-2. How different is the weekend if you have a competent defensive catcher? Like, I know I harp on this a lot, and a lot of you are probably sick of hearing it, but like, how much more do you need to see? Like, there are 3 positions on the field. There are 3 positions on the field where I do not care what you are offensively. It is so important to be elite defensively at catcher, shortstop, and center field. I don't care. And sometimes it works out to where you've got Alex Bregman at short and Dylan Cruz in center, and that's phenomenal. Like, awesome. But it doesn't always work out that way. Like, think about the best teams Maneri had, where the hole in the lineup was. 2013, you had Ty Ross behind the plate. Dominant defensive catcher, couldn't hit a lick. 2009, the championship team. Austin Nola at short. Freshman, hadn't gotten his bat yet, but they wanted to hit him as a defensive option at shortstop. They go win the national championship. And then you had Stevenson in center in 13. It's just like you're willing as a 15. You had Stevenson in center. So like at those positions, you will sacrifice a bat to have an elite glove because it's that important. Like, anyway. Let's see. So I got to get going, y'all. I'm sorry. I got to get Drew up and get him out. Got to get him to school. Sorry, I missed a bunch of y'all. Paul K. watched our pitcher in the second inning, first game throw, 15, 76, 77 looping curve. And Paul, I'm good with that against Ole Miss because Ole Miss is a team that is fastball hunting and swinging out of their shoes. To beat that Ole Miss team, we've seen it all year. You got to keep them off balance. You mix speeds, sides of the plate, high, low in the zone. Like, you have to pitch to them. Like the crafty veteran is the guy that gives them trouble. As much as I love Raisman chucking 98 over the plate, that's when they turn it around for a 3-run homer, and they did. Wrapping batches, what's good? Okay. All right, y'all, I think we're just about done. I got to do this. Oops. Sorry. I'm contractually obligated.
When you need a roof, call someone you know. Scone, Ontario.
All you need is HUDCO.
Call HUDCO Roofing. 364-1007.
All right, y'all. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. HUDCO's pinned in the comments there, the link. So hit the contact form. Be in touch with us. We'd love to come give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection, especially New Orleans. Hail in New Orleans yesterday. Give us a shout. There's a spider on my desk. I'm going on longer, bro. All right, y'all have an awesome day. LSU Daily, AFR3. Peace.